Deepika madam, you can start.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great, as said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Good afternoon, one and all present here. I, Professor Deepika HC, from the Department of Commerce and Management, on behalf of Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science, and Commerce, welcome you all for 3-day faculty development program on implementation of NEP, Roadmap for Quality Education, Research, and Academic Excellence, organized by Department of BCom and BBE in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell. The objective of this faculty development program is to understand the purpose of implementation of National Education Policy 2020 to ensure a systematic and professional development for quality education, and to encourage the teaching fraternity for involving in research initiative which leads to academic excellence. To begin with formally, I invite Ms. Ananya Prasad KR and Ms. Kirtana S. from second year BCom for the invocation song.
Mahaganapatim manasa Smarami Mahaganapatim manasa Smarami Vasishtavamadevadigandita Mahaganapatim Mahadeva Sutam Mahadeva Sutam Guru Guhanutam Mahadeva Sutam Guru Guhanutam Prakasham Shantam Prakasham Shantam Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam Moshika Vahana Modaka Priyam Mahagarnapatim Manasa Smarami Vasishtavamadevadigandita Mahagarnapatim.
Thank you, Ms. Ananya Prasad and Ms. Kirtana. I request Professor Pavitra HP to welcome the dignitaries and the august gathering.
Thank you, Deepika ma'am. Every teacher needs to improve, not because they are not good enough, but because they can be even better. Very good afternoon, one and all present here. Myself, Pavitra HP, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce. This afternoon, I would like to take a privilege to welcome you all for the 3 days faculty development program and implementation of NEP, Roadmap for Quality Education, Research and Academic Excellence, organized by BBA, BCom Department of Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce in association with IQAC. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. We are blessed to have such a great leader with us. It's my pleasure to welcome our Honorable Chairman, Dr. D. Hemachandra Sagar, Vice Chairman, Dr. D. Premachandra Sagar, and our beloved Secretary, Sri Galiswamy, for great support to organizing this event. I'm very happy to welcome you, sir. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Today, we're glad to have an eminent resource person, Dr. Prashant R. Nair, Vice Chairman, IQAC and Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. We are really very happy to have you for this event. Welcome you, sir. The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. With these great words, I would like to welcome our respected principal, Dr. Nagra Shanai, Vice Principal, Professor Hemant Uppala, who are constant source of support in organizing such event. Welcome you, sir. I extend a warm welcome to Professor Gurunath R, IQAC Coordinator for this event. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome people behind organizing a wonderful program, Dr. Suplab K. Podar, HOD, Department of Management, Professor Murugesha BN, HOD, Department of Commerce, to the event. Welcome you. It's my immense pleasure to welcome all the participants from various colleges across the country for the 3 days faculty development program. I heartily welcome all the participants in this program. Last but not least, I welcome all the faculty members and organizing committee of Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce. Welcome all. I'm sure this session will be more informative and fruitful to all of us. Learning is an experience. Everything else is just information. Happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pavitra ma'am.
Thank you.
I now request Professor Kshama Hegde to introduce resource person for today's program, Dr. Prashant R. Nair.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. I, Kshama Hegde, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom and BBA, is here to institute today's resource person, a very dynamic personality, Dr. Prashant R. Nair, who is working as Vice-Chairman, IQAC and Associate Professor of Computer Science and Engineering of Amrita School of Engineering, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore, India. He has over 20 years of research, teaching, mentoring, training, consultancy, and academic administration experience. Dr. Nair taught in academic programs in the USA and Europe at University of California, San Diego, and Sofia University, Bulgaria as an Erasmus Mundus Fellow, and has written 6 books, 2 edited books, 1 book chapter, and over 50 publications in reputed journals, books, and conferences. Mr. Prashant has mentored student teams which have won premier international and national competitions like European Union Urban Mobility Challenge, IEE Asia Pacific Region Humanitarian Technology Challenge, Smart India Hackathon, TCS Digital Twin Challenge, Rajasthan Hackathon, and represented India as part of the National Hackathon team for Singapore, India, and facilitated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. He has also been ranked as top innovation mentor in India by Atal Innovation Mission twice and featured on the Gems of Mentor India handbook and coordinates AIM activities at Tamil Nadu as Regional Mentor of Change. He has been serving as the Chairman, Vice Chairman, Coordinator of Amrita Deemed University's Internal Quality Assurance Cell since 2009. Dr. Prashant Nair has coordinated 3 cycles of NAC accreditation, NBA accreditation, NIRF rankings, and served as UGC Nodal Officer for University. A very sought after speaker by conservative estimates has addressed 150,000 students and trained 10,000 plus faculty on technology, innovation, professional bodies, and quality aspects of higher education. We are obliged to have you, sir, today, and I welcome you on behalf of entire management of the Dayanand Sagar Institution and Department of BBA and BCom for this enlightening session, which we are all waiting for. Without further ado, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Can you just put me on the spotlight? Spotlight me, can you just spotlight me? The host, can you please spotlight me? Am I audible?
Already done. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. I'm not able to see myself. Okay, fine. Okay.
I think you'll have to change settings in your Zoom, sir.
I don't know why it's not come. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Esteemed Principal Dr. Nagaraj Shenoy, coordinators of this program, Dr. Suplab Podar and Dr. Professor Murugesha BN, other esteemed faculty colleagues from various institutions, and of course faculty from the Dayanand Sagar College of Arts and Sciences. Very good afternoon to all of you. I'm very happy to be starting this presentation for this faculty development program on NEP, which is very relevant and very important from every perspective, especially for all of us faculty. The cardinal, the principle that I would say before I go into my slide is that, we have to adapt, adapt or perish. That's the cardinal message that I would like to give to all of the esteemed faculty that, are there. We have to adapt ourselves, champion the change, adapt ourselves, and then if we do not adapt ourselves, we will only perish in what is going to happen. So it is very important that we proactively understand the situation, the writing on the wall, and adapt ourselves, change ourselves, tailor make ourselves to the new things that are happening. Let me just start the sharing. Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
visible.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's nice to know that you are organizing this event on NEP 2020. So I will be talking about two aspects of NEP, but before that, I want to give you a perspective on NEP. As also, I want to tell you what is the focus areas in terms of what the future holds with respect to the NEP and its implementation. Now, at one level, the implementation of the National Education Policy 2020, it's almost a year has passed, and there have been some traction with respect to implementation of the provisos and the various initiatives of the National Education Policy. We have already seen a significant number of universities, top-ranked universities, starting online programs, and those online programs are actually thriving. They are thriving everywhere, because I would know, because my university has started the online programs last year, and I have actually handled the subjects. Interestingly, I took a course on management information systems for the BBA students. I took the video lectures, prepared the slides, and the entire thing is given to the online platform. And that's it. I mean, I don't have to be available. The students look at the slides at their convenience. On and off, the local coordinator just buzzes me and says that, there are some doubts. Can you have a doubt clearance session? And that also, there are local faculty who do that, but still on and off, I just have to interact. So it is so simple. I mean, it is so seamlessly done, so effectively done. Yes, I had to do shooting for maybe shooting and editing of the online program for more than a week or so. Full day I was sitting, but then we have got the outcome out of it. So the NEP, it's almost a year since implementation, and we are seeing things that are already happening, like a lot of top universities, including IIT Madras, has started online programs. Many of the top private universities, deemed universities, have started online programs, and they are thriving with a lot of students coming. So now, having said that, we have to also understand that the National Education Policy is a vision document. It's a vision document. It's a portal, or it is an inkling of what things are yet to come. And there are so many revolutionary ideas that have been proposed in the National Education Policy, and many of them cannot happen in a day or two, or in a year or two. It will take its own sweet time. People say devil is in the details. I'm sure you have heard this quote, devil is in the details. I beg to differ. I always say God is in the details, right? God is in the details. The details are very, very important. And to have a complete execution of the National Education Policy will take some time. Certain initiatives may happen soon, certain may take some time, but it is a wonderful vision document. Now, the second thing I want to stress upon is that India needs this National Education Policy. India very much needs this National Education Policy. I would know, because I have spent almost 2 decades in this Amrita Vidyapeetham multi-campus university with 6 campuses. It's now ranked, as per the NIRF ranking, it is a top private university in India. We have been ranked 5th in the last NIRF. And our NAC grade is A++. We got a 3.7 CGPA, which is also the highest among all private and deemed universities. And we have also been recommended as an institution of eminence by the government of India. But having said that, the fact of the matter is that we are living in an extremely over-regulated and over-regulated, over-bureaucratic system. That is a sad reality that we have today. And I've been facing it. See, I started looking after the IQAC activities as a vice chair for the entire university, all 6 campuses, 15 colleges, we call them schools, more than 150 plus departments, 20,000 students, 2,000 faculty. That's the number that we are looking at. And we have been doing this for almost 14 years now. And it is very clear, interacting with different disciplines, arts, sciences, humanities, medical, Ayurveda, social work, nano, bio, engineering. It's a highly over-regulated system. There is a separate statutory body for many of the courses. If you are running an engineering program, an MCA program, an MBA program, you have to look at ACT. It is mandatory to go for All India Council for Technical Education. If you are running a B.Ed program, you need to go to NCT, National Council for Teacher Education. If you're running a medical program, Medical Council of India, dental program, Dental Council of India, multifarious statutory bodies for several disciplines. We have separate regulatory body. If you are a university, you are looking at UGC. If you are an affiliated college, you are looking at the affiliating university, which has to go to UGC. As a college, you also have to submit data to the ministry directly. Sometimes they ask you directly for the All India Survey for Higher Education. So there is a separate statutory body, there is a separate regulatory body. Even if you are autonomous, you have to still talk to your university. You have to still talk to UGC if you are an autonomous college. University Grants Commission, separate statutory body, separate regulatory body, separate accreditation body. If you are an arts college, you need to go for NAC. But if you are an engineering college, you need to go for NAC and NBA, because if you don't have NAC, you can't get autonomy. If you don't have NBA, you cannot have postgraduate engineering programs in the department. It is a highly fragmented, I would say that was the word I was looking at, an over-regulated, fragmented system. And on top of it, we have a separate rankings body also. The rankings body is separate. I mean, it is now under the NBA, National Board of Accreditation, but next year, I'm told in 2023, it is going to be a separate society. That's also. See, this is highly fragmented, highly over-regulated. And the answer is, eventually, the NEP will subsume everything. I mean, that is the hope, that is the promise, that is the expectation. And we hope that things will real taper down, everything will be subsumed into a single authority for statutory body, regulatory bodies, accreditation, ranking. And that is the hope, that is a vision, that is the aspiration that we have for this policy, right? And we have multiple, we have been facing these multiple bodies for more than 14 years. And I'm sure many of you know, they unfortunately, many of them don't talk to each other. ACT doesn't give a damn about what UGC is doing. UGC will ask you data, ACT will ask you in a totally different style, a totally different format. Right? NAC and NBA never see eye to eye. If you ask NAC, they will say NBA is totally different. It is as different as chalk and cheese. And you ask the NAC person, he will echo the same thing. So these are issues that each institution, you and me, face these issues day in and day out. And it is our aspiration and our expectation that this NEP will change the system, will change this process and make it into a very more effective, proactive system, a proactive regulatory and body that will subsume all the statutory bodies, regulatory mechanisms, all this. This is the hope, this is the expectation, this is the prayer rather. And it's not a new concept. Actually speaking, even in the last government, I'm talking of the UPA government also, the National Knowledge Commission had been constituted under the chairmanship of Sam Pitroda. They also came to this similar goalpost. They also had recommended the same thing, that you have a single body and so on and so forth, and through the NEP. And of course, many other things. Of course, this Kasturi Committee only expanded the scope, and so many things have also been, so many other things have also been added. And it's a truly a vision document that is really, truly a vision document that will completely change the face of the Indian educational system. Another thing that is going to happen is we are going to be seamlessly seeing interoperability of the national education policy with other policies. This year, maybe this year end, we are going to have a new science, technology, and innovation policy. I have in fact been involved in that policy in a committee level, and I can tell you that there is a very revolutionary idea that is being talked about. All the entire country, all the journals will come through a one nation, one subscription model. This is the plan. I don't know. We hope it is in the pre-cabinet stage, this science, technology, and innovation policy. The hope is that, the plan is that we will have a one nation, one license or one subscription kind of thing for all journals. So everything will be centrally available, and anyone and anybody. So each college or university does not need to go on investing money on getting the same journals. In one license, everybody will get access. This is the idea. This is the goal. Let's hope it happens. Now let me go on to the actual topic that I have to talk to you about, some of the concepts with regard to the National Research Foundation and the Special Education Zone. So the evolution of the education policy, it's not that this has been in progress. As I mentioned, there have been many, right from independence. There has been talk. There have been several policy level interventions right from independence, and some of them really changed the face of every national policy. Had some kind of input towards the system. every policy. In fact, this National Knowledge Commission is not given, but in this listed in this, but that actually suggested many of the some at least of the ideas that have been implemented in the suggested in the Kasturirangan committee report have also found their way in the NKC recommendation. Some of them are there, not all though. So this has been going on for quite some time. And this has been a very highly consultative process. Everybody has been involved, all stakeholders have been involved, multiple, making a policy is not a very easy thing. The whole thing takes more than a couple of years, because first you have to get inputs from all the stakeholders, the rank and file of the country. We have to go down to the villages. So it's a very highly consultative process. A draft is made. The draft is then first made. It is kept on the website again for then after that, those inputs are taken, only then it goes to the cabinet. The cabinet meets at, you know that the cabinet is now meeting primarily for the Ukraine crisis. So when the time is there, the cabinet does a pre-approval, and only then it goes to the parliament for thing. And before that, it has to go through various mechanisms in the ministry. So this is what the it's a highly consultative process, and obviously that is why it took time also. It can't happen in one day. It took more than almost 4 or 5 years to happen because of this process, and because of the sheer size of this country. Now, the vision of NEP is very clear. India's education system should be the best. By 2040, it should be one of the best. It should be aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, especially the fourth one, where there is quality in the system, there is equity. Everybody is equal. Everybody has equal access to information and education. Everybody has access to quality education, and there is some commonality across the system. There is a underlying focus on values and culture, values and society, and every Indian should be proud of our system. Now, we know that India at one point of time was the educational capital of the world. You know, universities like Nalanda, Takshashila and all we have heard, right? And that is the goal, that, you know, in the Indian university should rise to a level that was, you know, in those periods, and come to that level of, you know, Nalanda or whatever. And there should be a pride to be Indian. That is also a thing in our values, in our culture, in our heritage, and so on. That should also be there.
ನಾನು ಇದು ತೆಗಿತೇನೆ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶಾಟ್ ತೆಗಿತಿದ್ದೇನೆ Zoom ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
I have to okay. And now the goal is, today Indian gross enrollment ratio is close to 50%, is close to 27%. Maybe it is 28 this year, 28 to 30%. But the idea is by 2035, we should have 50% gross enrollment. Gross enrollment means out of the 100 children who are going into the school system, at least 50 of them should go for higher education. And the NEP also talks about flexibility. I mean, this is already there in the US and all, multiple entry, multiple exit. It's been going on for quite some time in the US system. You know, you can do a 3-year program, 4-year program, UG program. Some cases there are 4-year program where you do a additional year, you get an honors, you get a minor. PG programs can be even 1 year or 2 years. You have integrated programs, like, you know, you can go for a BE and an MBA. In 5 years, you can complete that. MPhil to be discontinued. You can have simple majors and minors, different options with these things are already been there in US and many European universities. But the idea is to build it in a structured system. Many private universities have, top private and deemed universities have been experimenting these kind of things for quite some time. But there are some regulatory issues. Still there are some regulatory issues. There's now some lack of clarity on certain things and all, like, you know, 1-year program. See, unfortunately in UK, most of the programs are 1 year. And when that person comes back from UK, applies for a job, the industry may accept, but that person wants to do a PhD. Many universities don't agree. These are the issues, you know. So these things will all change. They'll become very flexible. There will be very seamless credit transfer. You'll be having an academic bank of credits. You can register, any foreign university can register, your collaborators can register, and there will be a free and seamless flow of credits, transfers, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a way, these are some of the things. Now, since I'm talking about the National Research Foundation, I want to very much talk about the need. See, I'm sure all of us are faculty. I want to escalate my concern. All of us are faculty. I'm sure for the last 20 years, I have been facing a problem. I'm sure each one of us has been facing. How do you balance your teaching, your research, your administration duties? Right? I'm sure each one of us has been, what is the magic mix? Is there a magic mix? Is there a magic formula? Is there a magic mantra to balance your teaching, balance your research, balance your administration? I'm sure nobody has found that magic mantra. It's a challenge that each one of us face. Each one of us as a faculty. At one side, you're teaching very well, excellently well, but many of your promotions based on research targets, research outcomes. Yeah, right now. And when you do research, when you want to make a high impact paper, you have to sit day and night. If you are sitting day and night, maybe your teaching could suffer. If you are doing administrative work, you may have to do so many things. Obviously, your research will suffer. If you're traveling a lot. I mean, I have this problem. I travel a lot for between campuses, between many a time to many of these statutory bodies, Delhi and so on. And sometimes my research students suffer. I can't help it because I have to do that job also. It's a challenge all of us are. But now the idea is that there will be different types of universities, yet these are proposals. Okay. How it will come in the future, we don't know. But the idea is that many of these autonomous institutions, many are there. They have already have some level of quality, some level of autonomy is there, and they have obviously got some kind of ranking or accreditation. Otherwise, they would have not got autonomy from UGC, and they will be able to give degrees. They'll be able to make their own syllabus. They'll be able to make their own exams, and so on and so on. And that's a good thing. If there are, I would think there are around 1,000 autonomous institutions are there, not only in arts, sciences, humanities, engineering. Medical, I don't think so. It's not allowed. The medical council is not allowed for any, neither is the dental council allowed. But at least in sciences, humanities, arts, engineering, business, there are many. They all can give degrees. So they don't have to go to a university which is affiliating hundreds of colleges. Now, the second thing is there will be teaching intensive university and research intensive university. Research intensive university, the best example would be like a IAAC, in an Indian Institute of Science. Almost no UG. I think now some UG programs are there, but primarily they are postgraduate, PG and PhD programs, and most of the faculty are leaders in their research. Even an IIT more or less qualifies, but in IIT there is a lot of UG teaching though. UG numbers are high, but IIM also, if you take, it's mostly PG and PhD. So these kind of research intensive universities will be there, and then teaching intensive universities where most of the faculty are private, large numbers of students are being enrolled. Most of the faculty are just teaching. Of course, a few of them may be doing research, that doesn't matter. The next is model multidisciplinary education and research university. Multidisciplinary integration of science, engineering, arts, humanities, commerce, medicine, and so on. Those kind of universities which can become centers of excellence, which can develop a lot of technology and innovation for the need of the country. There are so many gaps. Biomedical, we saw especially during the second wave of the pandemic, how much of there was such a problem because of the logistics infrastructure. But we have to also see that immediately, in terms of oxygen, immediately factories were able to be set up or modified to take care of the needs for oxygen, take care of the need for PPE and other things. So that's a great thing. India has become a resilient country, and that's what that can only be happening if you have multidisciplinary research universities that are developing cutting edge technologies that can be used not only for the country but for the entire world. That's the focus, and the idea is that it can happen in every district. Yeah, then there will be graded autonomy. Depending upon your ranking, your accreditation, you get some points, you get some sort of incentives, and over a period of time, within next 15 to 20 years, it's expected that all this affiliation will go off, and every college will be empowered to give degrees and go on. Other things that have been talked are, yeah, I have already told you about the single regulator, but as of now, Medical Council has not agreed. They have not agreed to come on board. Some talk is going on, but it has not happened still now. Every institution will be having an independent board of governors. A national mission on mentoring is planned. Mentoring is so important today. Now, I'm telling you, you properly mentor the students, they will do wonders. And when my profile was being read also, how much busy I am, I'll tell you my own experience. However busy I am, I may be traveling 20 days in a month or to other campuses and stuff, but I always find time to sit with my teams, my mentoring teams. Either they're going for competitions or they're writing papers or whatever. It's so exciting, and that's where I really I may not teach much, but I do this thing a lot. And there will be a completely an online self-disclosure based transparent system. To a large extent today, NAC has also come to that. Almost 70% is based on the data that you submit and the evidence that you submit. But then unfortunately, in the process, because we quickly moved from a subjective to an objective system. Unfortunately, what has happened is, it was an abrupt change, and because of this abrupt change, documentation has also become a huge challenge. Other provisos of the new education policy will be, common norms for public and private institutions, an online self-disclosure system, fee fixation, which will be commonality. Already in their medical institutions, there are some clarity has come on that, and eventually 6% of the GDP will be used for education. Today, I believe it is less than 3%, or just a tad less than 3%. It will eventually become 6% of the GDP. Then, of course, I'll be talking about NRF, then internationalization of education, integrating of vocational teacher and vocational skills along with the mainstream education and professional. Now, this is a major issue, because many, all of you will agree with me, many of the graduates that come from the portals of our institutions do not have the employability skills. NASCOM, which is the IT Association of Companies, is predicted as has given very alarming statistics that approximately 70 to 75% of the graduates are not employable, and the companies have to do a finishing school to make them employable. It's a big challenge that way. Then having more and more institutions, having standalone institutions, making them into multidisciplinary, a special education zone. I will come to that a little later. And then some more things that we are seeing, which focus on Indian values, culture, building a scientific vocabulary, literature, and so on, cultural awareness, and so on. So these are the things, are some of the things. And of course, technology, huge leverage of technology, not only for teaching, learning, but also for delivery of the course, and pedagogy, assessment, evaluation, planning, management, and ERP, maintaining the data, central repositories, so that you have everything in a central portal. Any regulatory agency asks you, with one click of a button you can give those things. Then focus for this, I will come to that, virtual labs, e-content in regional language, and so on and so forth. So some of the things that are there now, yeah, this is not relevant for you, it's a college event. So yeah, so So this NEP is truly a vision document. The idea is to completely transform, have 50% GER and have 100% students move from preschool to secondary school and high school, and have at least 50% of them go for higher education, have technology, have Indian culture, have Indian values, focused on more of experiential learning, activity-based learning, project-based learning, rather than mugging up and so on and so forth. Some of the vision that is envisaged out of the NEP. Now, let me go to the topics that I have selected for that is the special education zone and the NRF. The NRF is expected to be a very major NRF is expected to be a major boost towards improving the research outcomes of the country as a whole. Now, today, I'm sure I want to stress upon, just give me a minute. As I mentioned today, India needs a lot of technology. India needs a lot of research, both basic and applied research. Both are needed. The reason is, only if we have basic and applied research, we can translate this basic research or applied research into technology. And that technology has to be useful for the society, has to be leveraged for the bottom of the pyramid and the lowest strata of the society. So the idea, just to give you, since all of you are college teachers, I can tell you, you have so many ideas that are coming. Let us take, your students. If you are doing a BCom or a BBA, every year, I'm sure in the final year, you're doing a project, right? You're talking of millions of projects, whether it is BCom, BBA, BSc, BTech, MBA, MCA, MSc, MCom, millions and millions of projects are there. Many of them may have very good original ideas, but the student is doing the project, okay, writing a report, getting evaluated, and that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Now, we need to have an ecosystem wherein the ideas are there, but these ideas have to be translated effectively into prototypes. The ideas are translated into prototypes. The prototypes are translated into products, and the products are translated into startups. That's what the need of the hour is. So research is happening. Many of the top institutions, very few institutions in India are doing research. That's a fact of the matter. But those top institutions itself are struggling because there are so many ideas being generated, but how many of them are becoming startups? How many of them are moving from an idea to a prototype to a product, and a product to a startup? Very, very few. Maybe any university you take, it may be in double digits, less than that maybe. So you need to have an ecosystem for this. And an ecosystem where not only the top institutions, but everybody, at least the ones that are multidisciplinary universities, the autonomous institutions, the research intensive institutions, and they at least contribute to this knowledge movement. That is what the need of the hour. Today, research investment and innovation investment in India is just 0.69% of the GDP. In the US, it is almost 3%. In Israel, it is 4.3%. In Korea, it is 4.2%. Indian, it is less than 1%. And people are saying we need to at least have 3%, 2 to 3% that is there. So you need to build an ecosystem for that. An ecosystem where colleges, universities, industry, research centers, agencies, are all connected together. That's what is needed, so that more people can apply. You may be in a very small institution, but your idea may be really good. And that idea needs, your college or your institution may not have that much of reputation, if you go to a DBT or a DST, but you as an individual has a very good idea and you need a pipeline for that. So that innovation ecosystem is what is needed. Now, certain things we are also already seeing. If you see, in terms of publications, India's share in research publications is 4.35%. In engineering, it's much higher, 6.75%. Pharmacy, it is 5.35%. Management, it is less than 4%. But if you see, the high impact papers is very less. Yes, maybe many of the papers are in paid journals and all. That's all maybe true, but we can't help it. If when people are given for publication targets, they will obviously some of them may publish in paid journals or predatory. We can't stop those things, but that's a small percentage. But what I'm trying to say is that we are seeing that this is increasing. We are also seeing that now today this industry 4.0 has come. Smart education, smart factories, smart logistics, smart cars, smart building, everything is smart. IoT, sensor, machine learning, artificial intelligence, 5G, robotics, AR, VR. Now people say AI plus X. Artificial intelligence plus X. X can be anything. X can be English. X can be law. How you use artificial intelligence for law. X can be computer science. How you use artificial intelligence in computer science. X can be commerce. So AI is here to stay. We are going to see all these things. So we need to build a very nice, a dynamic, a robust, a resilient ecosystem. That is what is needed. The ecosystem is needed so that we move from idea to prototype, prototype to product, product to startup. And for that, we need two things. One, this ecosystem has to be made, and then, but for the ecosystem to be building, that is one side of the puzzle. The other side of the puzzle is that there should be a research of culture that is also there in colleges and universities. That has to permeate. And I told you, you may be in an ordinary college, an Aam Aadmi institution, but you have an excellent idea. Just because you don't have the reputation or your institution doesn't have a reputation, your idea has a reputation. So how do you apply, right? For that, the idea is to have this NRF, National Research Foundation. It is an umbrella body which will coordinate with all research agencies, ISRO, DRDO, DST, DBT, CSIR, all the national labs, the national laboratories, the national centers, defense, DRDO, everything, plus industry through CII, Confederation of Indian Industry, to FICCI. Industry also has got a lot of requirements, but somehow we need to talk. We have been doing industry in academia interaction for decades, but we are not seeing spectacular success because we academicians have to adapt and understand the language of industry, right? We have to understand, I always tell my faculty, you have to start thinking from quarter to quarter. You don't give me your plan for 1 year, you give me a plan for quarter to quarter, because industry is like that. Every quarter they have to show results, right? So we have to also start thinking in those ways. Quarter to quarter we have to start thinking. We have to be proactive. So this NRF will be the umbrella that combines everything: research agencies, government, industry. It is independent of government, has its own governing body which will have experts. It will be a one-stop, a window, a single window, umbrella organization where all the research grants will be, and we are only looking at NRF, and anybody who has a good idea will be funded through the NRF. But of course, it will be based on open competition. It will be based on peer review. Some expert will definitely look at what we are doing, and across disciplines, interdisciplinary. And another thing is, this is needed because India faces a lot of challenges. You know, I don't know if you are aware, COP26, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26. India has committed only that we will remove coal by 2070. But our government is highly proactive, and I'm sure that may happen by 2050. But what I'm trying to say is it's another 20 years before we are able to remove coal. We can't just say all the coal plants can vanish. It is not possible today. So we need to work on sustainable energy, green energy, renewable energy. And the COP26, the United Nations is asking countries to do it by 2030, but it's not possible in India. We have given a target of 2070, but our government is so proactive. I'm sure it will happen in 2050 itself. But what I'm trying to say is that there are monumental challenges. Not only climate change, population, healthcare, drinking water, sanitation, education, so many challenges. And who has to solve? You and me, researchers in this country. You don't need to be in an IIT, an IIM, or an IASC, or a NIT, or a National Institute of Science. Everybody has to contribute. And that hope, the single window to fund research will come from this NRF. And anybody and everybody can apply for a grant, all the industry. Now, even today, it's a challenge. You know, you are applying on your own, you're downloading formats. You have an idea, you have to go to DST portal, DBT portal. DST portal will be online. You have to submit some other document. DBT will ask for a different format, different utilization. It's a challenge. Actually speaking, the bureaucratic hassle itself is very difficult. Some faculty once told me, you know, I'm not having time to run behind these bureaucracy. I'd rather just teach. You know, that is the challenge. You know, obviously, it is public money. When you're getting money, it is public money. And you have to be accountable. So NRF will competitively fund research in all disciplines. It is going to be a single point of contact, single window. It will be an umbrella. All the research agencies will funnel their requirements to the NRF, and you as a researcher, you as a college, you as a university will only look at the NRF. This is the idea. So it will become seamless, it will become efficient, and hopefully India, we will have much more research happening. Every college faculty will have equal opportunity, and that will help us move towards a strong digital society, a knowledge society, and so on. Now, there is also the NRF will be leveraging the power of AI, Industry 4.0 for everything that is going to be there. AI, the NRF will also have a focused area on India's culture, arts, languages, heritage, and so on. Those things will also be considered. The Indian systems of medicine, Indian systems of technology, science, math, art, literature, these will also be promoted. So this is going to be a game changer, because every faculty will have access. Every faculty will have access to the to all the things, and it will be an open competition, obviously. But you need to prepare. Now, obviously, if there is a peer review, you have to prepare yourself, but you will be given an equal opportunity. You will not be at a disadvantage with respect to these kind of things. So that is the big a huge thing that is going to happen through this NRF. Now, coming to the Now, coming to the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about the special education zone. So hitherto, India has not been having a major mission or a major initiative, a national initiative towards this special education zone. So today the national education policy has clearly defined that there are some socially and economically disadvantaged groups, the SEDG, and these are based on gender, primarily female and transgender, socio-cultural identity. Yes, there is some affirmative action already, that is scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBCs, and minorities, but this is there. This has already been there, but that is primarily in the form of a reservation. The socio-cultural disadvantaged groups, gender issues, geographical issues, people from rural areas, small towns, tier 2 aspirational districts have less access to colleges and so on. And finally, disabilities, people with learning disabilities, handicaps, physical handicaps, mental handicaps, and so on. And finally, socio-economic conditions, migrant communities, low-income household, children in vulnerable situations, trafficking, orphans, street children, and so on. So there is a clear definition with respect. It was always there. Okay, it was always there, but this proposes for a special education zone for the amelioration, for the addressing the needs of all socially and economically disadvantaged groups. And these SEDGs are classified into 5. Gender inequalities are there, socio-identical, cultural are there, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBCs, geographical, coming from small towns, small villages, rural, remote places, tribal hamlets, disabilities, physical, mental handicaps, and finally socio-economic conditions, street children, urban poor, slums, low-income, migrant community. So now, so these things were always there, but now there is a special education zone for all these socially and economically disadvantaged groups. And earlier there were some interventions. I told you already that when you scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and OBCs, there were some affirmative action wherein you had wherein you were able to have reservation for them in jobs, in educational institutions, and so on. Similarly, for there have been some interventions like for girls, toilets, bicycles, tutoring, special tutoring for people with learning disabilities, open schooling, one-to-one teaching, and so on. So there have been some interventions, but now all these interventions will be amalgamated into an umbrella called the special education zone. So this special education zone will be an umbrella that addresses all the aspects, all the issues, all the problems, all the challenges that will be faced by all socially and economically disadvantaged. And all the policies will be integrated, centralized. There will be no state, federal problems, and so on. Out of this, some of the things that are planned are a gender inclusion fund to provide better educational opportunities for girls as well as transgender. And this is almost 50% of the entire SEDG, socially economically disabled. Other thing will be the government schools, like the school groups like Kendriya Vidyalayas, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalayas, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, which are run by the government of India through the ministry, especially in the aspirational districts, the backward districts. They are going to be having, they'll be given a special grant, a special focus, a special privilege, a special center called a special education zone. And here there will be free boarding, free library, full facility, all technology-based interventions, resource centers, trained faculty, train-the-trainer programs, mentoring, all kind of assistive technologies for the students with disabilities, a national mission on special education. So we have trained people who can address the requirements of these people with disabilities and with handicaps and so on. And there is going to be a very big technology boost. Technology is going to be given complete fillip. Technology in the sense that the technology solutions will be adaptive so that everybody and anybody will be able to learn as per their pace. There will be all kind of technology labs, virtual labs, assistive devices. A big mission on assistive technologies for hearing or blind, visually impaired, technology-based trees, and so on and so forth. There will be a special program or a mission on Indian Sign Language, and to teach subjects using the Indian sign, having special educators. There is also some talk of having special kind of schools, special schools for in these special education zones, which will be only focused on these children and with special needs, and they will be equipped with all the facilities, library, pedagogy, laboratories, reading material for all those who are having the disabilities. And also there will be scholarships, free boarding, fees concessions, and even co-curricular and extracurricular activities like NCC, NSS, and those kind of co-curricular, extracurricular interventions. And also finally, the assessment is adaptive. There is going to be a National Assessment Center, PARAK, which will be formulating the guidelines and recommending the tools for assessment, not only from the school, the primary school or the preschool, but till the post-graduation. So this is the plan for having this special education zone. So it's again an umbrella. See, already these things were there. There were interventions for socio-cultural disadvantaged sections like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. There were reservations, even for minorities, some reservations. Of course, there were some statewide. In Tamil Nadu, I mean, I know in the state where I am working, I hail from Kerala, but I've been settled in Tamil Nadu for 20 years plus. The reservation is close to 69%. 69% is through some form of reservation and so on and so forth. In Kerala, I know there was something called a creamy layer. The state government had done a creamy layer. A creamy layer means among the forward castes, there are people who are economically disadvantaged. So the creamy layer, there was some kind of reservation that was planned. So every state had different systems and so on. Of course, there are also political issues with these. But then the special education zone will bring all these strategies, initiatives, facilities, schools, centers of excellence, research, teachers, co-curricular activities, library, pedagogy, everything under one single umbrella. And the existing schools like JNV or KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya, will be equipped with this kind of special education zone. Oh, I think I've come to the end of my slide. So this is what I wanted to cover about the National Research Foundation and the Special Economic Zone. One more thing, this I have talked. Yeah, one more thing. Yeah, big focus will be there on online education, open and distance learning. Even today, now, if you have the UGC has already agreed that you have a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. One of those degrees, either the bachelor's or the master's, can be online, and it will be equivalent to anybody who has done a UG, PG, PhD. That already UGC has given a ruling, and that is a step towards an online education. See, we have to embrace this. That's the only way. Now we cannot. If you ask me, we need not aggressively go in a revolutionary fashion. We can go one step at a time. And that's what I will recommend. Go one step at a time. I will tell you our own experience, right? In Amrita Vidyapeetham, we started more than 10 years back, maybe 10 years back, not 10, maybe 7 years back. We started with our PhD level courses. PhD level, when you are doing a coursework, you are allowed to do some percentage of courses in a MOOCs mode, an online mode, but they should be from a reputed thing, like, it should be a government-based, Coursera, edX, Swayam, NPTEL. It should be what should I say? It should be authentic, and you should get a clear certificate with a clear evaluation and a rubric. That's all we had insisted. But we started slow. We started with the PhD. Then slowly we started with the masters in engineering. You can do some level of MOOCs courses, and it will be part of the credit. And now slowly it is percolating down for the bachelor's programs. So we can go one step at a time, but we have to understand that we have to adapt. Online is here to stay. Online education is here to stay. Blended learning is here to stay. It is better that, we embrace, we adapt, and we, change ourselves. I'm just telling you, the last 2 years, I started my own YouTube channel because many talks I was giving, but I've given, when my profile was right, hundreds of talks. But now I think, oh my God, I should have captured many of them in the videos. I never had any videos. So some college says, I want specifically this IQ criterion 6. I know the content. I have the slide, but I don't have a video. But now, it's so seamless. You can go to my channel. You can find out all the technical lectures. So, this is here to stay. It is better that, we adapt and move forward. With this note, I thank the organizers for this opportunity. I think I finished a little ahead of time, but I'll be very happy to answer any number of questions that you have. Thank you so much. Over to the organizers, to the host. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the valuable information. Now the platform is open for the question and answer session. If any faculty wants to ask the question to the speaker, you can be asking the question directly or post the question in the chat box.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
I am Smita. I am from RVD College of Management and Information Technology, Bangalore.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, you were talking about the session was very nice, sir. We were able to, understand the whole thing, the concept itself. It's very nice, nicely explained.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a doubt. You said that the research work for us is very difficult to manage. As you know, we have to do a lot of thing at time. We have to, as a woman, I definitely understand we have to manage a house, the college work, the other administrative work, as well as the research work. Right, sir? So if we understand, for us itself, it is so difficult. For students, don't you think it will be even more difficult to, of course, it is their challenge that they have to take. What is your opinion about this, sir?
Madam, I actually, there are two parts to your question. One is the challenge. I told you initially itself, it is very difficult to balance. It's each one of us has to figure out it. That's all I can tell. But I have, I've been looking at some American universities, and it's only an idea. I have actually even proposed to the folks here. In some way, it is already there in the US. So they have what is known as a bucket system. A bucket system, it's not written in very formally given in black or white. I mean, maybe if you ask an American university, they may deny it is there. But internally, they have some sort of bucket system where there are some people, who are not having who are not interested in research. To be very honest, they are not at all interested in research. And they don't have the kind of scientific acumen also to do research. Maybe they may eke out a PhD and so on. So there are some talks about having a teaching only bucket. You have more teaching, no research to do. There is a research only bucket where you only have very little teaching and very little teaching and mostly research. And there is a hybrid, teaching plus research. So you try to balance both. But, if you ask me, I think the need of the hour is that my feeling is the policy makers in India this is the urgent issue that they should solve. If you ask me, ACT for engineering and management teachers, they should define some feedback system. They have mentioned everything, teaching, research. But this kind of bucket system should come from a policy level is my feeling. Only then this problem will be solved. I know, I struggle sometimes to maintain. We have publication targets for our faculty. I struggle sometimes because I'm working so hard on the, on the compliance and NAC and all those things. But very difficult sometimes. So this is one thing. Now, as far as the students are concerned, I think now, we have to also understand that the students have become very, very smart. They are very, very smart now. And students are also very technology savvy. maybe more than us, right? So we can, the way is to kind of, leverage that technology savvy nature of the students. And I'm not saying engineering, all students are very technologically savvy now. He may be a law student, still they are savvy. So over a period of time, we will move to a age where, it is a blended mode of learning. A teacher, rather than somebody who's going to the blackboard or playing a PPT and talking, will more be a facilitator of learning. Certain things will be online, certain things will be physical, certain things will be experiential. I think that's what is going to happen in the future. And I'm sure students, they are already smart in using technology, and that will solve a lot of problems. That's my only answer I can give. I hope at least partially I have addressed your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I've given a research work to them, because I handle digital marketing and consumer behavior for them.
Yeah.
So I give a combination of research, and they said, ma'am, it will be very difficult because we have to do the college work, assignments and everything, and they have to take out still time for research work.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is the reason why I asked you this. So what we should be, doing for this?
I'll tell you an interesting story, but please do not quote me for the benefit. I had the
Definitely
same.
not.
Yeah, in our MBA students in our university. So we have a rule that postgraduate students, if they have to graduate, they need to have a paper which is indexed in Scopus, accepted. It may not be, it has to be published in due course, but that is a rule. Now, this rule has been given en masse for all postgraduate programs. It's a policy decision the university has taken more than 7 or 8 years back, and we have to comply. Now, many MBA students come and tell me, I handle computer courses for them, software engineering, project management and all. Many of them come and tell me, sir, we are going for a summer's project. The company doesn't give us any information. And forget publishing, most of that information is highly confidential and proprietary in nature, which cannot be published. Now you tell me what to do. No way you can publish that summer's project. The student goes for 120 days or something. I think it is, it's not 120 days, maybe 2 months or 3 months they go. They are not.
It's 2 months. It's 2 months.
2 months, correct. 2 months, some cases it is 90 days also. We are having 3 months also. But what I'm trying to say is it is not publishable. It cannot be. But then what do we do? So the only thing I can tell the MBA student is, see, you are having so many courses in the first year and second year. When I teach you software engineering, I ask you to go to a company and develop an SRS, a software requirement specification. Why can't you write a paper on that? You can write a paper on that, right? So you have to, the only way is you look for a course where you have a term project, or you have a kind of some kind of work which involves field work or project work, and then convert that into a paper. That's the only answer I can give. Even then, some of them are not able to do so. At one level, I cannot even blame the administration, because it's a rat race. There are targets for everybody and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
I see some questions here. Can you please read, Deepika?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So there's one question from Professor Mukesh Soni. Where do we stand to go on with this NEP?
Yeah, as I mentioned, devil is in the details, God is in the details rather. So it is being implemented step by step. I think to get the complete the essence of the whole thing, it may take 5 to 7 years. That's what I think. Because there are so many policy interventions. Some may happen in the first year, some will happen in the second year, some will happen in the third year. There may be some touchy issues that may be stuck in politics and state center problems and listing and all. Some states, including the state where I belong, where I'm working rather, Tamil Nadu, have completely rejected the NEP. What they are saying is they are going to form a committee to look into an alternate NEP, but that's all politics. I cannot comment on that also. So I would think it may take 5 to 7 years to completely execute the whole thing. But many things have already happened. Like I told you, online. So many universities are already running online. The gross enrollment ratio has definitely increased now because thousands of thousands, and UGC and MHRD is Ministry of Education is keeping track of all how many students are being going for online mode. All that numbers are there. So those things have already started happening. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Lohit sir, I think you have a question to ask. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. The question was, previously we had CBCS scheme where student had the option to choose one of the subjects, where in the credit-based scheme where they had multidisciplinary learning.
Yeah.
But now when we say about, even there, the failure was that the institution never had the required resources for allowing the student to take any of the subjects that they wanted. So obviously what used to happen was the institution is to choose based on availability to the student.
Yeah.
In most of the cases. So it never served the purpose as required in the previous scheme also.
Yeah.
Would FDP go in the same way?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. See, any institution will be constrained by their faculty availability, faculty skills, faculty, workload. See, as a department, I used to run the CSE department for more than a decade. Certain times I have to balance the workload also. I can't just go on having some electives that some electives are not subscribed by anybody. I can't ask those faculty members to sit put and go somewhere. I can't throw them out, right? So as a administrator, I will always have to balance the departmental requirements, departmental expertise, departmental workload, faculty skill. It's a very delicate balance. But having said that, now that is where I'm telling that, when you don't have the expertise, when you're not in a position, that is where the MOOCs thing come. It is available. So many things are available. See, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I have a doctoral committee meeting for candidate of mine. So I found out 2 PG level courses that he will do with the master's students. And he has identified, I told him you can take 2 more MOOCs courses in the next semester. He has already identified, and he told me there are 2 or 3. It is available in Coursera, it is available in NPTEL, it is NPTEL Swayam. So because the online thing is there, I think that's the way. Wherever you don't have the expertise, they can go for a MOOCs thing. And as much as possible within your college, within your department, you have to balance. And as an administrator, I will definitely say balancing is also important, because ultimately you have to also have faculty. You can't just throw them out, right? They have come here for a living. We have to strike a balance. That's the only thing I would say. Yeah.
So in that way, will it not be disadvantage to all those institutions which are standalone? For example, institutions which are science alone teaching institutes, or commerce alone teaching institutes. Engineering institutes which are big in size will have an advantage, or autonomous institutes which are becoming big, will it not lead to capitalism?
No, initially in the past, yes, but now when the MOOCs comes, right, everybody and anybody has got access. It becomes a level playing field. But what you say is true. If you are a science alone institution, you don't have, it will be definitely a problem. You are more multidisciplinary. There is a chance for you to offer these kind of electives and extra, I don't know, some word they use, extramural courses and all, some people say. That is like, if I am to give you an example, in Coimbatore campus, I have an engineering school and a business school. So if the business school is offering me some finance and all for my engineering students, it's something like an extramural course or something like that. So obviously, yes, in terms of physical offline teaching, those who are multidisciplinary will definitely have an advantage. But when you have MOOCs available for anything and everything, it becomes a level playing field, I feel. And one good thing is most of these good providers of MOOCs are they do a lot of QA, quality assurance. They do that also. So it's not there. You cannot just gloss over those courses. It's not so easy. You have to study. You have to do that. Only then you will be able to clear those things. So that's a good thing actually.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So the feedback link will be shared in the chat box. I request all the participants to fill the feedback form. Only then the certificates can be generated.
I also wanted to add, I have put my email ID in the group, prashant@amrita.edu, prashant@amrita.edu. And you can follow me. I have the LinkedIn and Facebook are pretty old. You can follow me. Just search for my name. I don't think you can become a friend, but you can only connect. You can connect on LinkedIn or follow me on Facebook. YouTube channel is very new, just a few months old, but that is all same name. With the same name, you can search for me, and you can always be connected.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dr. Prashant, I have that one question.
Yes, sir.
How this NEP implementation can ensure the quality education? Which are the area that you can point out that either it can impact on this quality teaching and will have the improvement of the student quality also, where the teaching because that in the light of the situation, the before NEP implementation and after implementation of NEP, what are the changes that we can see?
Yeah, that's a very good question, sir, Dr. Supla. But now what NEP is talking of, when I started my talk, I told you about NAC versus MBA. They don't see eye to eye. NAC is a accreditation that focuses on a 360 degrees evaluation of the institution, whether it is academics, administration, finance, extension, research, innovation, everything is covered, but not in a very, very elaborate fashion, in some level of detail. Now you cut to NBA, National Board of Accreditation, outcome-based education. 70% of the NBA accreditation is based on outcome-based education. The plan is to combine everything into a single body, NAC, National Accreditation Council or Commission, wherein there will be thematic areas or thematic groups which will look at quality maintenance, quality enhancement, quality sustenance in each discipline. So we have to also understand, see, when you look at quality of education and learning outcomes of a medical college, it will be very different from your college. Yours is an arts and science college for a commerce or a BBA student. Similarly, engineering, so you cannot compare an apple and an orange, right? People say, right? So those kind of things, that is the hope of this NAC, that it will have thematic groups that will look at the metrics, the parameters, the rubrics for all the different disciplines of education. That is the plan. And already UGC is talking about LOCF, Learning Outcomes Curriculum Framework. Even medical education, they are talking about outcomes. To be very honest with you, I know our medical colleges called me, I have given them a talk, but then Indian Medical, what is that, Medical Council of India, now there is a new name, NMC, National Medical Commission. They may not agree, but still there is some talk of having outcomes for even medical education. So that's the way forward, I feel. You're mute, sir.
When we are talking about that NAC and all the different government bodies that they will evaluate that institution, and we know that one institution's performance, it is depend on its faculty's performance.
Yeah,
it's interlinked to that one. Yeah, but in the different private institutions, we identify there is a lots of that fluctuation or changes of that institution. The faculties are not going to stay in a specific institution for the longer time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens when the institution is expecting the very either A plus, A++ grade, they will recruit that all the qualified faculties, and the purpose it was that how to strong that their all the record system and the database. So once the database is strong, and the institution may feel so that we don't need such type of the faculties further to pay that high salary. So we can have that all the strong position of the documentation. So sometimes they will not be focusing on this continuation of the faculty, keeping that quality teacher also. It will influence, or it will have that negative impact on that student quality of the student they are teaching all the things. So do you think so that is there any policy, this NEP has that type of the that certain policy, so that faculty will be in the specific institution, they will become not as a that's just only for the record keeping purpose or the documentation purpose, they also can become the asset for the institution. It should have that benefit for the both institution as well as for the faculty.
No, I totally agree with you. I concur with you on what you are saying. I have myself, witnessed a lot of hanky-panky happening, I know I won't name them, but I know that, in March, April, as soon as the classes will end, they will terminate everybody, ask them to go home. Come August, they will re-recruit them. I have seen these things, but over a period of time, only slowly checks and balances have coming into the system. Because I know in as far as engineering colleges, many of them used to do this hanky-panky. They have 5-6 colleges, right? Same group has got 5-6 colleges. So when there is a NBA or a NAC or a AICT or a university inspection, they will just transfer people freely. And once this thing, they go back. But now it's not so easy, because when you are submitting data, they are asking for the PAN number. So they are slowly and surely checks and balances are coming. AICT is doing that, checking with the PAN number. And when they are coming physically also, they are doing inspection. They are slowly but surely they are coming. But then, see, we have to have checks and balances in the system. That's all we can do. We cannot predict who will do an unethical practice. But then even the, if I recall, there is marks for retention, for faculty retention. At least when I remember NBA, there is a lot of mark for retention. The more you retain your faculty, you get more marks. And that is not only reflected in one place, it is reflected in 2 or 3 places. Similarly, NAC, I think something to do with the experience in the institution is there, if I recall correctly. So there are metrics, there are checks and balances, but we will not be able to completely eliminate this kind of hanky-panky. We can report, that's all we can do, I think. We can report these things, we can be a little proactive, we can be a little alert and vigilant. But there's such things are still happening. I will tell you, I won't put names, but I'm just telling you, there is one institution, every faculty has to bring 5 admissions. If he doesn't bring 5 admissions, he won't get his salary. He'll be paid only, like, in US, you're paid only 9 months in a year. This fellow has implemented the US system in one way. You'll only get a 9-month salary. 3 months, you are not, you either, in America, you give salary for 9 months, and 3 months you consult or you do some other work, or you get funded projects and then pay yourself. But this fellow has implemented, and you have to get 5 students. If you bring 5 students, from that fees, you will get your 3-month salary. See, it is outrageous. But this has been happening. And let me tell you, these things with the social media, people come to know. I mean, people know. I won't name the college, but some of you who are in Tamil Nadu, I don't know if anybody is there in Tamil Nadu or have some Tamil Nadu connections, you may know which college it is.
Okay, Deepika madam, I think Ashwini madam has shared that one question you can address to that.
How the NEP is the tool for achieving social justice and equity according to NEP.
Social justice and equality means, see, there will be equity. Everybody in India, whether you are from an aspirational district, a poor backward district, or any district, you will have some kind of, you'll have equal opportunity with respect to that. And you may be sitting everywhere, anywhere in the country. You may be working in some job, but you can go for an online degree. You do it at your leisure on Saturdays and Sundays or evenings and all, and you can be on par. No company, nobody can deny a person with an approved online degree any opportunity for employment or post graduation, because that is what has been mandated. These are the ways by which some sort of social justice will come to the system. And I already told you, all these disadvantaged sections, they need a boost, they need a fillip, they need a nudge, and that is also provided. That's the only way with social justice with respect.
Sir, I got a question for you. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So as you referred about one nation and one journal subscription for all journals. So likewise, can we have one nation and one pre-PhD coursework for all the universities across India under the bucket of NEP?
It's a very good idea, sir. You can please put in your input, send it to the ministry. There is a portal in MyGov. You can send those suggestions. If it's not open also, please send all those things. We have done that.
Yes.
I have, I don't know, but I have got approval from my university authorities, and I've sent several representations for NIRF, and they have, some of them they have taken up also. Some of them, not all, but some of them they have taken up. So please send representation. Again, this one nation, one subscription is a very good concept, because a lot of money you have to invest on journals and stuff. And this is a plan. This is a plan of the Science, Technology, Innovation Policy. I was working on it as an ambassador in 2020 and 2021. But now the DST secretary has changed. The new person has come. So I'm not very sure what is going on, but hopefully by end of this year it will come out. But that is there already. And if you see the media also, this there, one nation, one, it's there. Google also, you'll find out.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very good idea. One nation, one PhD. Nothing like it. It can all be online. Anybody and everybody can attend online.
Thank you, sir.
If anyone has the question, so you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, are you audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Madam, yesterday itself I posted a question in this thing itself. Is it really helping the rural areas to have an academic excellence, this NEP?
See, there are going to be a lot of schemes for aspirational districts. Aspirational districts will be given a lot of support. Rural areas, tribal hamlets. There are several policy interventions. If you ask me, all of these summed together will make a change. It's not one one alone. All of these things will combine and definitely make a change. That's what I can say. Like
so suddenly this new NEP system has changed the academic things totally, no, sir?
No.
So is it possible for them to grasp and cope up with the present situation?
No, that's what I'm saying. It will be flexible and adaptable. That facility will be there. But we cannot do abrupt changes. It's such a big country. We can only go one step at a time. So it's not going to be drastically.
But surely it will be a gradual process.
It's a very gradual process. It may take 7 years to finally get fully executed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So anybody else has the question? Lohit Kumar, Assistant Professor Lohit Kumar has a question. How is online course different from distance learning, which was much cheaper and both were self-study mode?
I think both of them are getting combined, more or less. Distance learning means you're talking of IGNOU, Open Universities, Indira Gandhi National Open University and all. So that more or less both of them will get merged in due course. I'm not saying IGNOU will not be there. IGNOU will continue, and all their programs are more or less online now. Even exams may become online. It was not like that. They were to write in some centers or something like that. So all this will change, and even now that Distance Education Council is only regulating online programs. So all this will get merged. Now, cost-wise, there is no regulation on cost. It will all be based on market forces and what the college or the university decides. Now, in terms of one thing that I want to clarify, it is not self-study. Online education is not self-study. It is actually like a normal course, normal program. Only thing, you're not sitting in the classroom, you're sitting somewhere using some online tool and listening to the teacher, going through entire evaluation, going through the entire credits, the number of hours. Only thing, the delivery is online. Otherwise, the same thing is going on. So if I told you, I handled a course. I have taken this many hours of classes. It's only recorded and they see when they are sitting in Saturday or Sunday and so on. So there is no, it is not self-study. It is completely hands-on. But only thing, it will be 1 minute. It is hands-on. It is hands-on, and the delivery mode alone is different. But and this now this self-study and all may gradually disappear. That's what I feel. It'll all get merged.
Thank you, sir. So if anybody has a few more questions, you can be asking the question. So I hope there are no questions from the participants.
Yeah.
I request Professor Sudarshan S. Savanu to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Deepika Madam. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what has learned in school. With the elite vibes of Albert Einstein, wishing a very good evening to one and all present on the floor. I, Sudarshan S. Savanu, on behalf of Department of BBA and BCom of Dayanand Sagar College of Art, Science and Commerce. At the outset, it's my privilege to extend my sincere thanks to our beloved chairman, Dr. D. Hemachandra Sagar. I acknowledge the gratitude to our Vice Chairman, Dr. D. Premachandra Sagar, and expression of gratitude to Secretary Sri Galiswani. I exhibit my heartfelt thanks to our today's eminent speaker, Dr. Prashant R. Nair, Vice Chairperson, IQAC and Associate Professor at Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Amrita, Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore, who spared time from his busiest schedule to impart insights regarding implementation of NEP, research, roadmap for quality, education, and academic excellence. This day, we had a nice opportunity to hear his exuberant and valuable understanding about vision of NEP, education system by 2040, importance of NEP policy, aspiration of NEP, National Knowledge Commission, NAC, NBA, AICT, new science and technology policy, one nation and one subscription for all journals, major reforms under higher education, Meru model as model multidisciplinary education and research university, National Research Foundation. He shared some magic mantra about the saying, use of technology in NEP, in domain-wise project to incorporate the startups, Industry 4.0, AI plus X model, and he referred a couple of key changes as far as NEP is concerned. So from his experience and his understanding, such informative takeaway will surely be going to encourage our teaching fraternity in passing academic skills to students in near future with the assurance of responsible citizens. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your remarkable session.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I extend my most sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Nagraj Shonai, who has been supporting us in conducting such events, Vice Principal, Professor Hemant Uppala, and Professor Gurunath R, a source of support throughout all sessions. one cannot forget to remember the architect of such events who contribute through all toils and moils, right from idea conception, thought generation, planning, and smooth execution of such endeavors engineering. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor uh, Murugesh BN, Head of Department of BBA, and Dr. Suklab K. Poddar, the Head of Department of BBA. I also appreciate and thank the technical team for hassle-free support and technical assistance in execution of program. The omnipresent endeavors of core committee and master ceremony team are highly appreciable. Thank you for your support. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks to all the faculty participants across country who made this event grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I now request all the participants to switch on their video for a group picture.
Prashant sir, thank you so much.
Thank you, Suklab sir.
Thank you so much. With a very short time that we have given to you, and you accepted our invitation, and it was a nice session that we understood so many things, and we understood that so many things we have to implement. We should take responsibility as a faculty. So once that we can develop ourselves, that simultaneously our institution as well as a nation also will develop. Okay, thank you so much.
I hope we can meet in person soon.
Sure. Okay, thank you so
all
much.
the participants.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all the participants.
Thank you, all the participants.
You can send me the video of the talk whenever it's possible.
Yes, sir, and it will be available in that YouTube link also.
So that YouTube link,
Okay.
you can just send it to me.
Yes, sir. I will share with you, sir.
Can we leave the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.